Hi, welcome to Infusion, the podcast. I'm comedian Chris Patrick, a.k.a. Supplemental Powerman, and I'm here with my co-host and significant other, Rach.
Hey, guys.
And today we got Julie Chapman, who's a certified zone therapist and instructor, better known as a reflexologist. She's going to tell us all about reflexology and what she does. Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So you're a reflexologist. What exactly is reflexology?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to think about it, and it's kind of grown and evolved since it was first developed.
And when was it first developed?
Back in 22 BC.
22 BC.
Those are the hieroglyphics like on the caves and stuff where you're seeing like Egyptians rubbing each other's feet and hands.
Okay, that's interesting because I always thought that it could have I thought it arrived in like the Orient or something like that. It came from the Orient because I know a lot of Asian doctors are Asian people that use this, that also use. I've seen it with them using this kind of this type of therapy.
It's probably where it's grown the most.
Okay, in Asia
the most, yeah.
Okay, so you're going on about what you were doing. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
So the reflexology I do, it started in Norway. So
okay.
it evolved from reflexology from a doctor named Dr. Charles Ersdal. And he actually had a stroke when he was in his late 20s.
Oh.
And reflexology brought it back. Now, reflexology in that regard is more of the pressure points, the pushing on certain areas. And he saw that it was helping some people, but not all. It did help him. So he started to map out the body on the foot and found that it's more of a trigger system, that there are certain areas that are related to others, as in the body, that pushing on one area needs to be triggered on another area to get the whole system or the whole organ system to work correctly, to balance itself. It's not like there's anything wrong with it. It's out of balance. Okay,
yeah, because that's interesting because about a couple of years ago, Rach was going through some stuff. Her legs were like hurting her or something like that. Before she had her operation, and she's like, "My legs are killing me," and I knew a little bit about this, so I said, "Well, here, let me give you a foot massage." So I gave her a foot massage, real deep foot massage, and then thank God she was able to sleep through the night.
Oh, lovely, good for you.
Yeah, because I knew a little bit about this. I said, well, if I rub the feet, I know that's going to trigger this. It's going to trigger that, and plus I wanted to get some sleep.
Well, for our listeners that don't understand reflexology, can you explain that just a little bit more in depth? What it actually is?
Well, the best way for me to explain it is kind of like a kindergarten analogy. It is your whole body is set up on your feet, and pushing on certain areas balances that area. So, for example, if someone, now these are more like acute things, like things you've done, like hurt your neck or whatever, slept wrong, then on your foot is where this part on your body is. So pushing on that part just tells your body to fix it.
So basically, if you have a headache, you don't give somebody a neck rub. You rub their feet, and there's a certain part of the foot that you can rub that can help you with your headache.
That's like my husband. He's like, "Give me a back massage." I said, "Yeah, give me your foot." "No, I want a back massage." "No, give me your foot." That don't go over well.
Yeah, because so basically what she's saying is that there's certain triggers in your foot that if you look at your foot, if you rub like the upper part, the toes, or under the big toe or something like that, that triggers a certain part of your body, like your neck or your head or something like that.
Yeah, and it's the whole body is set up on the foot. So there's a lot of charts out there, and some of them I relate to, and some of them, not so much for me because that's not how I use it. But it, like for somebody who has neck pain, that slept wrong, you can go after the lymphatic system, which is the swelling. You can go after like the muscles, which is probably where the pain comes from. So.
Okay. So can you explain a little bit more? So like there's areas like in the toes, like in the big toe. Like if you massage the big toe, what part of the body does that trigger?
It's the head. We go after the brainstem. And that is like the medulla oblongata, where you're breathing. It's the corpus callosum, where it's the communication between the left and right hemisphere. It's the hypothalamus, which is like major muscle movements. It's major movements. For instance, I had a client just recently, and this was not what she came to see me for, but she said, "Oh my gosh, I have so many bruises. I fall all the time." And I'm like, So as I went through the whole treatment and I got to that part, the hypothalamus, I feel things in your feet, and it's not comfortable so much for the client, but it's a trigger. And as I push that, she said, "Oh, that's quite painful. What is that?" And I told her what it was. This was before she had explained to me that she falls a lot. So she has since come to see me again. And I said, "So how's the falling thing?" And she goes, "I don't remember. I haven't fallen." And I said, "Isn't that interesting?"
Well, it's also too, you can experience too, like if you ever, I'm a man and I get pedicures, but if you ever get a pedicure and they massage your foot, sometimes I walk out there, my head feels like light, and it's like I'm walking on the moon, like, oh my God, this is.
Yeah. And that's one thing, because we do both feet. And just for the client, when they come the first time they come, I just have them get up and walk around after I do their first foot, just to see the difference between the body on one side and the other, because your right foot's your right side on some things, not everything. And left foot's left side. Right side is more of the world, 3D, things that you experience. Left side is more emotional, more how you store your emotions, which also gets triggered by this treatment too.
Like I said, yeah, if you got a neck pain, instead of rubbing the neck, rub the foot. Or if somebody has like a hangover, give them a really good good foot massage, and that'll
there's
help.
Certain areas. So when I told my adult children, maybe they won't like to hear this, that I can treat your hangover, they're like, "What?" Yeah. So you go after the head, you go after the stomach, and that's where people get that feeling of nausea and they just can't eat anything. And you go after a certain couple of other things. It's in my book. So that's the funny part, and they feel better. And it's still, to this day, every time I do a treatment, something different shows itself. I'm still in awe of, wow, this is so easy.
I know for myself, sometimes Chris is like, "Just give me your head." And I'm like, "No, I'm going through a migraine. Just stay away from my head." Like, no.
Well, yeah. And the thing with migraines is they can stem from so many things. They can stem from, women's menstrual cycles. They can stem from magnesium deficiencies. They can stem from you hold too much tension in your shoulders. And that's kind of what we start to work through, is where does this come from?
Okay, yeah, like I work out, and one of the things with working out is sometimes you experience pain, and sometimes, like, one of the things I do, Rachel brought me this massage gun. I'm like, "What'd you buy me this for?" She goes, "Well," and I started using it. I'm like, I love that thing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, he was so resistant. I'm like, "Just let me borrow your feet for 2 seconds."
But
I have to explain one thing is when I started going through these classes, and it was still hard for me to understand, because it's like, this just does not make sense. I work in the medical field. This does not follow any of the protocols that we have. So I had practiced, well, first of all, I had done some Pilates thinking, okay, I need to get myself back into shape, blah, blah, blah. And went to practice my zone treatment on myself. Well, I only had time to do my right foot. So did my right foot, going, okay, got that. Next day, you could have drawn a line down my body. My left side of my body was so sore from the Pilates I did, and the right side wasn't. So then when my kids found this out, they do their workouts for hockey, big hockey family. They knew if they went to work out and they came to see Mom, they wouldn't be sore the next day.
So what did that tell you? You gave them foot rubs, foot massages, or?
Well, I did the zone treatment.
The zone treatment. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The zone treatment on the foot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like yesterday, we were at a CBD distillery, and let's just say our daughter took something she shouldn't have took, and we came back. Everybody was happy. Let's say
It wasn't CBD; it was CBG. So.
CBG.
Oh, just to clarify.
Yeah. So, anyways, she was on the couch, and I told Rachel, I said, put some meditation music on her to calm her down.
Take advantage.
And I grabbed the gun, and I started massaging her feet. I put some lotion in my hand. I massaged her feet, and she started to calm down. I said, "This is all we needed to do, is to calm down." And she slept most of this morning, but those are the things we had to do, because I knew if I massage the feet, that's going to get to the head, and that's going to.
Well, a lot of times that kind of stuff gives you what you need, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And she needed a nap.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, she took a nap all right along now.
She also expressed a lot of things that were very pent up in her.
Oh, well, then there's another stem. Yeah, that one.
So.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So,
going into your zones. So what I want the listeners to understand is why is this so different than somebody just giving you a foot massage? Like, why are the zones? You know what I'm saying?
Well, just like acupuncture, when they put when they use the needles, they follow a meridian up, which organs are attached to, and they find the gate points inserting a needle, and works lovely. I mean, there's so many ways to heal. That is one way. This is another way. All of the meridians of the body are triggered from the feet. So anything that is on that meridian is triggered. And with this treatment, there shows some discomfort on your foot wherever your body is kind of out of balance. So let's say a common one is just people get an upset stomach, or they have reflux or whatever. And the biggest thing that I find, it's the lower lobe of the liver. Well, what comes out of there? All your digestive enzymes. So, and life happens, and we get stressed out, we get anxious, and what happens, our autonomic nervous system, which one side is your sympathetic, which is fight or flight, make you think fast, muscles got blood, and the other side is your autonomic, or your parasympathetic, which is everything to do with healing and sleeping and getting everything back into normalcy or balance. So what happens when you're stressed, your sympathetic gets a little stronger, your parasympathetic doesn't work as well. So, and that is your everyday digestion, all of those things. And so one thing for a lot of people is triggering that lower lobe of the liver. Their stomach feels better, and it's not just that would help reflux. There's other things, having a decreased acid level, just how you function. It could be a bacterial infection, many, many things. But that's kind of what we go to find out where the reason you have a problem comes from.
What about like when people like been on their legs all day, and one thing that I just got to put my feet in some warm water?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We don't even understand the power of our feet. I mean, you asked me like 20 years ago that I'd be doing this, I would have looked at you and went, you's crazy. But now I look at feet totally different. And I know a lot of my clients will come and they say, oh, I'm really sorry I didn't get a pedicure or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not doing this to see how pretty your feet are. So it's the healing power. It's another way God has given us to fix ourselves.
Also too, with the feet, you also got by the foot is the lower calf, the calf.
Yes.
So massaging the calf muscle help too.
Yeah, there's mainly on the calf is lymphatic, so it's like the swelling part of your body. So as you rub that, it's sore on people, especially if you're active. But it will make you feel better.
Well, there's been times when you're at work, or like I take lunch break, and sometimes I just take my shoes off and just rub my feet and just
So if you ever find a part that's kind of uncomfortable, that's usually a place that's a little out of balance, and taking your lotion, rubbing your feet. But if you will find that if you hang on to it for like 3 seconds, that uncomfortableness will either dissipate or not be as sharp. So that's part of what I look for.
Yeah, because it brings a gateway into and that's one of the things we're talking about too with the show, is that we're looking at Eastern and Western medicine. Like I was watching a video on acupuncture. And of course, you had a bunch of Western guys who said they've studied it and said that it doesn't matter where you stick the pins, it's all mental and all that. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. They've been doing this for 2,000 years or something like that. So it's kind of like the Western side likes to put it down, where it's like, well, have you ever tried it? And I've actually had acupuncture, and it has helped.
It works really well. Absolutely. There's so many different ways, cranial sacral stuff. There's a lot of other modalities that I don't know about because I don't do it. But I've heard it from a lot of people I know.
And that's the thing too, because Westerns like to put it down, but it's like this thing's been going on. The Asians have been doing this for the last 2,000 years.
Yeah.
So you're saying 2,000 years of them doing it is totally just mental. It's totally all in your head. So we have that, and then also, you know, you have the science where the scientists want to make it more, you know. And I'm not saying don't trust in the science, but there's
No, absolutely trust in the science. That's the whole reason, like you said, I wanted to put this show together. You know, when you are needing surgery, absolutely have the surgery, but there's things that you can do before and after the surgery.
Well, and there are clients that I've had that I looked at them. I said, you know what? I think you need to go see an MD,
Yeah.
and this is why.
yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, but there are things you can do to prevent earlier, that kind of stuff. And it's either you're malnourished, you're emotionally things are going in somewhere, because emotions they hang out in your body.
And that's the thing too, because I know like in Asian countries, you know, a lot of people come into work, and like in Western countries, we come into work, we go straight to work. In Asian countries, before everybody meets and everybody does a stretch and all that before work. And I see companies now are just starting to pick up these principles that, hey, this actually helps, you know.
Yes.
It does.
Little stretching, like, and that's one of the things I always stress too, before you work out, always make sure you stretch, you know, do your warm-ups, but especially if you're running or doing cardio, always stretch before and after. And that's another thing. A lot of people do it before, but they don't do it after, you know, and then stretch between the day. Like, you know, doing my, working with my businesses now, I do a lot on the computer. You're sitting there, and there's times like every hour it's like stand up and stretch, you know, stretch your body out, walk around, you know.
Well, and there are some, one thing I do with my clients is there is some exercise things that I have them do. And it's just, most of the time it's because you're sitting at a certain spot and you're not using the muscle that works against that one. And that's why you get sore. So just doing some certain movements will dissipate that also.
Okay. So tell us more about, when does a client come to you? Do they come when they're hurting,
I've had all kinds of, well, it's because it's funky. It's not your normal average everything. So I have had people that come just because somebody else told them to. And they come with a skeptical eye, which I like those the best, right? Because it changes the most. And it may be, you know, so then I start the treatment. The treatment takes like 30 minutes. The first time is usually 40 to 60 because we do a lot of talking, because that's part of the healing process is talking.
Sure.
letting it out?
And I'm a safe person to talk to because you don't know me.
Yep.
And so we'll go through and talk, and it's more of a learning experience for them to see what the feeling is. You know, to me, I can feel things in your feet. They will feel things from burning to like a sharp electric kind of a zap. And, you know, according to those, like the burning ones means you've had it for a long time. You know, the acute phase is like maybe you slept on your pillow wrong, will be more of a sharp, but it dissipates, it's gone. But they will feel it immediately. So that's when I ask them after the first foot to get up, walk around, tell me how you feel. And they're like, you know, it feels like one side is floating. Or I've had clients that are like, you know, after they have a lot, and everybody has that tension and stress in their neck or whatever. And they're like, oh my gosh, I feel like this warm rush into my head. And I'm like, okay. And to me, everybody's different. I don't judge one or the other way. I touch all the buttons.
So do they like lay down on a table or lay down on their stomach?
No, they're in a chair.
Okay.
And then I have like a roller chair that I sit next to them, and they put their leg up on my knee, and I just start, and we'll talk about things as I go through, as I find things, or as I don't know, questions that pop into my head. So
for the reflexologists out there, my question is, how do you prevent yourself from getting tendinitis?
Tendinitis comes from many things. And the basic thing that I always find is your hips are out of alignment.
Okay.
And so that will kind of resonate. Then it makes you walk differently. You know, some things that can come from that are bunions, shoulder pain, knee pain, hip and joint pain. It just depends. And usually, you know, hips get out of alignment, women, childbirth. Even children in childbirth can be dislocated or, you know, torqued a little bit. It's that pubic symphysis, which is the girdle. So there's a lot of tendons and muscles that are attached to that girdle. And, you know, the common word is whiplash, but you always feel pain in your neck. Well, it's really not coming from your neck. It's coming from your hips. So I did have a lady, this is a funny story. A couple of years ago, she came and, I said, well, your hips are a little out of line. She goes, oh, I know. I have to hem one side of my trousers like an inch shorter than the other, shorter than the other one because, I'm out of balance. So after we had done a couple of treatments, not a couple, it was probably like 10 to 15 because there were other things, but she walked in and she goes, look at my pants. And I looked at her pants. One was shorter than the other one. Her hips had kind of come back. And we did this in combination with a couple of exercises. The PT people can work wonders. I have a list of exercises just to pull yourself back in. But she goes, I know you sew. Can you fix my pants? I went, nope. So there's a lot of funny stories. And generally, while we're going through the treatment, even though it can be painful, and I'm not going to lie about that. It can be painful. It's a different kind of pain. It's a healing kind of pain. And we're usually laughing through the whole thing because that is part of it. It's like, don't take life so seriously.
Yeah.
I am one of those people like, okay, what are we going to learn from this?
Yeah, because there was one time I was getting ready for work early in the morning and I hurt my back and my back was hurting and I just called into work. Rachel was down too because she hurt her back. I said, well, let's call my friend Stacy, who hopefully we'll have on the show soon. She's a massage therapist.
Oh, nice.
And we both went in and got massages. And after the massage, I said something like a real light joke, something that was just like, next thing you know, I'm laughing.
He went quick.
And that's the thing is massage could have brought that out in you too. You never know. I've had people burst into tears when I'm doing their treatment. They're like, I don't know why I'm crying. I said, well, go ahead.
Yeah.
Feel it. That's part of the healing. Yeah, exactly. Let it go.
Yeah, we had another person on the show. What was Colleen, yeah. And Rachel had a breakthrough. She was working with, she does pressure point therapy.
I did listen to that. Isn't it?
Somnotic.
Yeah. And that's one thing I'm not familiar with. So it was really interesting to listen to her.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to heal.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Cause there's been times when from working out, I've woken up and my leg, I've pulled a muscle in the middle of the night and I'm just like, Rachel put something on it, so she puts like some
essential oils,
some essential oil or something, just massage it, because it's just and I said, ooh, you know what? I probably should have stretched before I went to bed. I probably should have stretched those muscles.
And the other part that we don't think about is nutrition.
Yeah.
Do you have the right thing to do all that exercise? People who work out a lot should really make sure they're getting what they need.
Oh yeah, I'm very, very.
That's good.
Yeah, he's very conscious of what he puts into his food and his body. So
yeah, because interesting story. I went to the doctor and they're like, you got high blood pressure, and he was like, I can put you on these drugs. So he talked me into letting me put me on high blood pressure medicine. But then all of a sudden I had to cut out everything. It's like, you don't know how hard it is when you go get a sandwich, you want chips, but I can't eat them. They got salt on them. If I get fries, it's like, can I get them unsalted? I don't use salt in anything I cook now. Mm-hmm. So then a year later, they go, your blood pressure is great. You're keeping it down, all that. I said, yeah, I've been exercising, been working out, and I've cut out all the salt, no extra salt,
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of salt in food anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I can't eat it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
But it's helped me. And that's the thing too, is sometimes when you're working out, when you're doing stuff, you sometimes when you get older, you got to do a lifestyle change, and you got to cut this stuff out because this stuff ain't good for you,
Well, it just kind of accumulates. And that's the thing is everything accumulates, like the metals in your body, it's just the stuff you breathe. It's the stuff you eat. And if they're not clear, they just kind of go on top of each other and top of each other and top of each other. And you'll have something.
Yeah. Especially with genetics. If your genetics aren't good, then definitely you'll.
Well, and there's some interesting things with genetics. Like I did have a client. She said she was talking about something she had. I can't remember, but she was saying that it's in my family. And I said, well, is it like a genetic thing that that they found? She goes, no, we just all have it. And I said, so if you think about it, do you think like? She goes, well, my mom has it. And I said, okay. I said, think about it. I said, do you think like your mom does? And she's like, yeah, totally. And I said, could be a way you deal with your life. It could be, you guys eat the same foods. There's all these possibilities. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying think about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like our son, he's 15, and we took him into the doctor, and the doctor told him, he's like, you got high blood pressure. And I told him he eats these hot chips. They're called Takis. He eats them. He eats them like candy. And I was like, you got to cut that out. You can't eat that no more. Especially at a young age like you. You're in the risk of really, really hurting yourself. You got to make a lifestyle change.
So when he goes into the store, we watch what he buys now.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to.
And sometimes you don't see it till it goes on the little cart thing. It's like, where'd that come from? I don't know.
But no, he makes his own money, so we make sure. Did you buy Takis? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do Takis, you're doing 10 laps.
Yeah, that's things too. It's like I love soda, but I can't drink that much soda anymore. I try to stay away from it now,
Right.
Because I found out that has a lot of sodium in it, So I said, I'll switch to Gatorade.
All the good things.
Yeah, and the Gatorade has a lot of sodium in it because when you're working out and people drink Gatorade, but that sodium's to help you with those electrolytes to get
And
you
it's
back
got
up.
potassium too. So
Yeah.
and that's the water pump is the sodium potassium.
Yeah.
So
it was a big
it's kind of an eye opener.
big eye opener.
Absolutely.
So and also too, you got your book, an instructional handbook to relieve everyday ailments. Is this stuff you could do by yourself, or stuff you could do to yourself, or what?
You can. It comes pretty description wise. It's a lot easier if somebody else does it because the strength in your hands. I mean, I have mechanic hands because that's just what they look like, and I've been doing this for a while. The strength in there, and pretty much explains where you're going after, why you're going after it, how to position your hand, what direction you're going, because we follow the flow of the body. Most of the time, it's not something to do, like to piecemeal it out, to like do just a certain treatment. But if you've got something that bothers you, it's amazing that it does turn it around. The best part is to get a full treatment because you're treating the whole body.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's what the book talks about.
So after people get a treatment, how much water? I mean, they definitely want to drink a bunch of water, right?
Yeah, because we do go over the liver, and that is a big detox because that's where a lot of stuff hangs out. And the biggest thing I hear after we have a treatment is, I needed to take a nap, and I had the best poop I've ever had in my life. And I'm like, well, that's really good. There was a gentleman that came one time. He didn't say poop. He said something else. He goes, no, Julie, you just don't understand. I said, I think I do understand. It's the best poop I've ever had, which is also the detox part of it. So,
well, there was a time when for 3 days I drank nothing but juices. Juices I made with my juicer, and the fourth day I even do a joke about it in my act. The fourth day it was kind of like let's just say everything came out. It was like
that was interesting.
It was kind of like before you get like a colonoscopy, they make you drink this. It was like that. And I was like, man, what's going on? And I said, oh, it's my body spitting out all the bad stuff.
Well, and as you've seen, like when people fast, there are certain things that happen on certain days. So your body kind of cleans layer by layer. So usually the third and the fourth day, you're getting immune system stuff. Mm-hmm. You're getting deep rooted stuff. So yeah, you probably saw things you've never seen.
Yeah. Well, I always say it's like this. It's kind of like the body is like an engine. Like after 3 or 4 oil changes, what do they recommend you do? Get an engine flush to flush all the bad stuff out, to clean out the engine.
There you go.
And I said your body is like that. Like some people, like when they start working out, they go, man, I've been eating more. I said, yeah, you're eating more because your body's processing all that food, and it's taking that energy from the fat because it's taking all the food you've eaten. It's like, okay, we need more to keep him going at this speed.
We have some processes to do. Exactly.
Yeah. So we got. Where's this energy left? It's left in the fat. So that's what makes you lose weight. Then all of a sudden you want to eat, and then all of a sudden after you eat, it's gonna go through your body a lot quicker because like, okay, we got to go.
Yeah, we got this down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like we were talking to a personal trainer today, and I told her, I said, yeah, some girls come up to me, well, I do 45 minutes on the treadmill every day, and I'm not losing any weight anymore. I'm like, that's because your body's plateaued. Your body's gotten used to what you're going to do. So now you got to increase it to get your body going. What is she doing? Oh my God,
Yeah, or the interval stuff, or just kind of trick it.
Okay, well, Julie, thanks a lot for coming on the show, and I'd like to tell if there's any way somebody could get a hold of you, if somebody wants a treatment, what's a good way for them to get a hold of you, and do you got a website? And
I do have a website. It's a blog site that I do not blog on, but it has a lot of information. It's called zone2wellness.blogspot.com.
Zone2wellness.blogspot.com.
Yep, and it's got information on the book. You can order the book on Amazon.
And the book is called An Instructional Handbook to Relieve Everyday Ailments, Zone Reflexology by Julie Chapman, certified zone therapist and instructor.
You guys will be able to see that on our Facebook page, and you'll be able to see that on our social media.
And you can get this on Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay. And then once again, your website
Is zone2wellness.blogspot.com.
And then if they want to book a treatment, they can go to that site, or they can
The email is on there. They can email me.
They can email you, and definitely get a session with Julie, and I guess you will feel much
You'll
better.
have your own, yeah.
You'll
your
have
own
your-
things will happen.
So call her up and definitely, Julie, thanks a lot for being on this show.
Thank you for coming.
And thanks a lot for joining us on this episode of Infusion, the podcast. I'm comedian Chris Patrick, aka Self-Proclaimed Power Man, and my co-host and significant other, the one and only.
Have a great day, you guys.
Thank you so much.